I'm Chuck McDonald with Informed Entrepreneur, and it's my privilege today to be here with Michelle Wyatt, who's with CadmiumCD, and Cadmium has been recognized on the Inc. 5000 list, which makes it one of the fastest growing companies in America. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Many of us have been to conferences and seminars, and we know it's important to get the most out of the seminars. So tell me, your company helps to make that happen. How does that work?
So we provide 12 different modules to meeting planners. Meeting planners can choose from one module or all 12. I think the highest number we have is about 9 being used by one conference or event. And we have both the back-end products to help the meeting planners organize the event, and then the attendee-facing products where that information is published so that the attendees can see it.
Excellent. Okay. So tell me how the company got started. Usually companies start small, and when was it that it was launched?
Sure. So my husband and I started it in a spare bedroom back in 2000, and we quit our full-time jobs officially in 2009 and moved out of our basement at that time. And since then, when we left our basement, we had approximately $500,000 in sales, and this year we'll hit $5.2 million. So we're pretty excited about the growth over the past 7 years.
Fantastic, fantastic. So was it just a period of steady growth, or was there some kind of milestone where something big happened that kind of launched you into a new level?
It's been fairly steady. I would say anywhere from 20 to 50% growth year over year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest challenges we have is just bringing awareness to the event planners that this technology exists. A lot of it is fairly new. Event planners typically have managed their events a lot through spreadsheets and email, and our systems definitely replace that, although they can still obviously use email and Excel. So just making them aware of the product's capabilities and making it as easy as possible for us to work with them is another thing that we really strive to accomplish.
Okay. Was there some kind of a memorable moment, though? Let's say you landed a huge association that was unaware of you, and then they started using you and really liked the process and just kind of went from there?
So approximately 90% of our clients are associations. 8% are hospitals or universities, most of which offer CME or continuing medical education credits for physicians and nurses, and then 2% are corporate event planners. So on the association side, we have obviously really small associations and really large ones. Some of the larger ones you've probably heard of. American Dental Association is one of our clients, American Institute of Architects, American Library Association, and then we obviously have really small ones as well. So it just depending on what the client's needs are, but I would say we get excited when we expand within the client. If they're just using one module and they decide they want to expand into using more of our modules, that's exciting for us. Currently we have over 300 clients. Every client is exciting. It's just verification that our product continues to work and is flexible enough to accomplish a wide variety of goals for a number of different types of clients. But I would say, there's some definitely turning points. One of them was landing U.S. Green Building Council. Green Build is a huge conference. I don't know if you walk into a building, a lot of times you'll see something on the outside of the building saying it's LEED certified. That's all done by U.S. Green Building Council, and we've been working with them since 2005. That was a major turning point for us. And then we landed American Dental Association, let's say back in 2011. That was another major turning point. So I would say if I had to pick 2 milestone clients, those would be the 2. One, because U.S. Green Building Council is very well known in the industry, and a lot of people see what they do and like what they do, and fortunately that's gone in our favor. And then American Dental really helped us crack the net on dental conferences, and there's a lot of dental conferences within the United States, and having them as a reference is a huge boon when you're trying to convince other dental associations to use your services.
Fine, outstanding. So give me an idea about the financial growth, how that's ramped up and where you're at now.
Sure. So this year we'll do $5.2 million. In 2015 we did $3.8 million. The year before that we did 2.4, and the year before that we did 1.6.
Steady growth.
Yeah.
steady/spectacular kind of growth.
Yeah, we like to think so. We work really, really hard. We have an awesome team of employees here that care a lot about the success of the clients and the products they're using, and work really hard to make sure that it's implemented well.
Okay. And how many employees do you have?
We currently have 44, if you don't include my husband or myself. With my husband and I, we have 46.
Excellent. With growth like that, you've had to encounter a few obstacles. Can you recall a couple that you've encountered and been able to, how that's made you different or helped you to grow as a company and perhaps you as a person?
Well, so far we have had, we've grown by bootstrapping the company.
Mm-hmm.
So currently we have no outside investors. At this point, we're at the stage where we might need to start considering bringing in outside investment, just because in order to continue to grow at the rate that I would like to grow, I think it's going to require more cash than what we're capable of generating on our own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely going to be a challenge in 2017. But as far as in the past, I think any entrepreneur would say, at the 1 million point, that's kind of uncharted territory where it can kind of make or break you. So I will definitely admit that I would say, the time frame between, let's just say, 1 million and 2.4 million was definitely a struggle. You're trying to build systems, you're trying to hire people, but on the flip side, you need to make sure you continue to grow sales. So that was definitely the hardest period, I think, as far as launching a company, is getting past that 1 million mark and getting it to the point where you can successfully maintain the company growth without having to worry day to day about the financials.
I see. Okay. So obviously you've learned a lot about leadership during that time. You've had a steady growth in your company. You've worked with a number of employees. Well, what have you learned about leadership and how to give guidance and leadership to a company?
We have a fairly flat organization. I like a flat organization. My husband and I both work at Fortune 500 companies, and there's a lot of politics and raises and advancements, and with a flat organization you can bypass a lot of that politics. It's just based on your personal performance and the company's performance. Mm-hmm. You're not in competition with anyone. There's not a set pool of funds. Obviously there is, but there's not like it's a competition like you feel like it almost is within a Fortune 500 company. I like to think we treat our employees as fellow humans. My husband and I have 2 boys, and most of our employees are parents as well, and we have a very family-friendly policy here. Our hours are really flexible, and I like to think that they're very family-friendly as well. If people want to go to their kids' recital and it's during the middle of the day, they clock out and they go. There's no question about it. So I like to think that by being fair and reasonable about when we want our employees to work, that helps a lot in retention, as well as making sure that they're happy and our clients are happy as well.
I see. Okay. Do you have any kind of a person that you look at as a mentor, you try to pattern the company after, or just just based on your own experience?
So I guess I would say Bern Harnish. He's written a book called Rockefeller Habits, and he owns a company called Gazelles. And he's always talking about scaling your company and growth, and has all sorts of wonderful ideas and tools. And I'd say that he's indirectly or directly, if you want to think of it, helped a lot in shaping the way I think about growth within the company. And then, obviously, anytime you see either success or failure out there, you try to learn what helped them succeed or what caused them to fail. You might think, oh, the competition failed. That's wonderful. It's not wonderful. It just makes you second guess everything you've done and really makes you question as to if that's going to happen to you. So I would say, just trying to learn as much as you can from other organizations, seeing what other small companies are doing, either right or wrong, and trying to work your way through that is what we try to do on a daily basis.
I see. So obviously you're an entrepreneur, and that's
Yes.
not something for everyone. So how did that come about? How did you become an entrepreneur? Just from looking at the big companies, how they did it, you wanted to do things differently, or maybe something when you were a kid you learned when you were growing up? Because there's obviously, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur is very different than being a person in a cog in the Fortune 500 company.
So I grew up in a family where my dad built houses, so he was self-employed, did construction and housing on the side. And that taught me a lot, just watching him in the daily business and how hard he worked. So I definitely think the hard work that goes with it. Unfortunately, he didn't have all the tools back then that we have nowadays. You know, the credit that we can get is much, much better than it was in the 80s. You know, that the information age, being able to advertise your services, find potential clients, make it easy for them to find you. I tease some of our newer employees because they have no clue what life was like before the internet. Yet I remember getting my first computer. I remember running the phone wire from, you know, literally across half the house so I could get an internet connection. I remember all of that in college, whereas, you know, the millennials don't remember that at all. Mm-hmm. So just seeing how much has changed. And then obviously I started, well, maybe not obviously, I started, when I left college, I went into chemical sales, and I used to go to a lot of trade shows and events, and I saw how things were done at trade shows and events, and I thought there had to be a better way. I was literally getting a FedEx box with a huge binder with a bunch of forms that I had to fill in and fax back to the vendor. It was just crazy. And then there was all sorts of deadlines with no reminders and everything else. So I like to think we've come a long, long way, and that was maybe 20 years ago. So hopefully, I think the market is still growing tremendously fast. There's still a lot of need for improvements within the events industry. You know, there's different estimates out there as to how large the events industry is. But when you think of that, 1 in every 7 Americans is in tourism, mm-hmm. and conventions and exhibitions account for a lot of travel within the United States. It's a pretty big number.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So even though entrepreneurs like yourself work some long, crazy hours, often still look for a way to give back to the community, do you have a favorite way to give back to the community?
I'm partial to the Boy Scouts. I love Boy Scouts. My husband actually has his Eagle Scout. My father has his Eagle Scout, and a couple of our employees here have their Eagle Scouts. And I'm hoping that my son will one day have his Eagle Scout. So I really like the Boy Scouts. We're pretty active within it, and I have 2 boys. One's in venturing and one's in Scouts, and hopefully the one that's in Scouts will be an Eagle Scout one day too. Okay, very good.
Now, you know, just a quick interview like this, I'll probably have left out a few things that are important. Anything else that you would like to comment on that offers a little quick window into your company and how you've been able to bring it to this point?
I think the most important thing is to listen to what your clients are telling you, or maybe think about what your clients are saying and figure out either ways to implement what they're asking for or ways to achieve the same goals. And if you can do that, you're going to have a winning product. At least that's been our experience. You know, there's a lot of pain points in event technology and how to grow a business. And if you listen to your clients and can satisfy their needs, you're most of the way there.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much.
You.
Thanks for your time.